What's up, everybody? It's yours truly, Rico Vibes. This is Take 5. I've got the pleasure of having Dr. K
Hi,
in the building. How are you?
I am awesome. How you doing?
Good. Welcome back to the A.
Yes, yes. But it's not
Yes.
hot
It's,
anymore.
it's
It's
not.
it's cold
We're
and
in
tough.
we're in fall or winter actually. It kind of
Yeah.
skipped fall, went straight into winter.
I see. I'm
Yeah.
like, look how much clothes I have
I
on.
know. I know. You're coming from Guyana, right?
Yes, yes. It
Yeah.
is. I mean,
What's the temperature like there?
it's nice.
Is it?
Yes.
I would imagine.
It's beautiful. Even
Yeah.
though with rain and everything,
Yeah.
it's just at the end of the
Tropical
rain,
all
it's
year
so
round, I'm
hot.
sure.
It's just rain and sun.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather.
Man. So you've been going for about, what, 10, 12 years now from Atlanta?
Don't let me talk about it. Make it sound so long, right?
I mean, that's
but
not a bad thing. I
yeah,
mean, you've survived in that's your born in land, right?
yes,
So
yes,
you,
yes.
if we can all go back to our country of origin and survive and live, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
It's a good thing.
yeah. Yeah, it's like a 10
Then,
good
yeah.
years.
Okay. And you're into real estate. You Fabulous Homes International. So talk a little bit about that. How did you get into that, by the way?
But I've been in real estate even before leaving
Right.
Atlanta. That was
Right.
my baby. That was my, it brings joy
Gotcha.
to me to do what I do. I absolutely love helping people get their homes. And it's taking what I do to another level, basically, because we did it here, or I did it here. But I found what I liked doing was working with luxury clients, people who had some millions to spend on nice
So
mansion.
millions US or
Yes,
million?
million.
What's the
US.
exchange in Guyana?
It's
before
like,
you-
it's just like 200 to 1
Okay.
right now. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
keep that in mind because
Okay.
that's going to be very important later on.
Gotcha.
200 Guyana dollars to 1 US.
Okay.
Right? So
Right.
now you can understand why I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
right?
heard it's been developing, but continue.
Yes, yes. So going back home was more of, all right, well, I'm doing what I'm doing here on the luxury side. How does that, how do we create something around the income levels for the local Guyanese? Like, how do we get them into a home? They might not get to a mansion because I was looking at that probability. But to assist those people, that was just about 5% of the market that could afforded what I did originally. So I'm like, what happened to the 95%?
Facts.
What happened to those people? Like,
Facts.
would they be able to own anything at any time?
Right.
So that's where this, it's not just even an idea, it's a spark that comes. Hey,
Gotcha.
how about you create something that could not only just assist the 98 or the 95%, but sorry, the 5%, but rather the 98 or the 95%,
Right.
because at that point, it's a wider group of people. And now you're looking at volume, but at the same time, you're looking at, I'm making an impact on a larger scale.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
that took about 4 years, Rico.
Are you serious? That
4
long?
years. 4 years to come up with something, trying one thing, testing another, trying a feasibility study that lasted 4 years to figure out what it is that we could create that can work for the income levels of the people that live there who were working regular jobs. Even if they did like 2 or 3 other jobs, it still wasn't enough to support a household plus own a
Mortgage.
house, right?
Right.
So that turned into, okay, well, we found a way as to how we can make it work for the average man who is saying, I want to own a home, but I know that in my lifetime, probably I would not be able to. So I said, if I could just get one person, because that's where it started. When that was done, I'm like, here, if we could get one in the feasibility study, if I have one person who starts this program and completes it successfully, then good. That would work. We had 5. And then that 5 turned into 20
Over.
who went through that program over a 4 to 6 year process.
Gotcha.
Because it's like showing you how to own a house, making monthly payments that is within your salary, and with some assistance and zero interest, you now have the potential to own a home.
Okay.
Most of the programs are for 7 years or 10 years, and using the system that I created, put everybody, once you're working and you've been working for at least 2 solid years with 2 solid years of income, and the ability to have a disposable income of at least $250, the equivalent of $250, which would be 50,000 Guyana dollars monthly, you can own a house using my program in Guyana, South America.
Okay.
So I don't have to tell you that program absolutely went viral. And from assisting 5 to 20, and they say, okay, well, we're going to just call this project 500. And when we get the project, when we get the 500 folks and we've helped those, then we're going to close it off because we know that something works. Project 500 has morphed into Project 5,000.
So these are brand new homes.
Brand new homes.
Okay.
Homes that are built for customers, or we start building after they have accumulated at least 50% of the total cost of the home.
Okay.
But it must fall within what they can afford, as opposed to having them hang their hat where they
When I can't reach it. Got
right?
it. Got it.
So don't come and show me your house where your grandmother and your auntie and all of them buy, because you can't afford it. You'll you'll build what you can afford now. And it's not something that we throw together. We're Fabulous Homes, so we still have to give you a house that matches
That looks
with
fabulous.
our brand.
Right, fabulous.
Correct.
Right.
But you will have to build it a little smaller so that it could match your budget. And in that doing, later on, after you have completed building that house, you can now go on and extend it tastefully.
Right.
And you could add to it. Of course, we will be doing the work too.
Right.
So it makes sense to just join the program, learn how it is to get to that first house, and that first house will now lead you to house 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever. You build your small little real estate empire, basically. And that is what I've been showing the average man or the average woman, how to use your own money to take you from where you are right now, where you're feeling unempowered, to empowered, owning a property that later on could be passed on as a legacy to your children, and so on and so forth.
Now, this program, is it built for just local folks in Guyana, or is it built for folks from outside?
It's built for everybody.
Okay.
It's built for everybody. So that's why it took so long, because I was trying to figure out, so if the folks from the U.S., because there's plenty of Guyanese living all over.
Of course.
And Guyana doesn't have any restrictions as it pertains to buying real estate there. So for the person that's coming from Barbados, Trinidad, wherever, across the region, you're from St. Lucia, right?
I'm from St. Kitts.
St. Kitts, sorry.
St.
Keep
Kitts
on mixing up, yeah. So anybody that's looking to buy real estate in Guyana, there's no restrictions right now that prevents you from buying real estate there.
So the government has no restriction. You don't have to be a citizen. You don't have to buy citizenship. Nothing like that.
Correct. Because remember, for every other island, you'll have to do citizenship by investment and so on and so forth before you can be in a position to buy a house. So for right now, there are no restrictions. Who knows? It might change later on. But for right now, there's none. So
folks jump on it now because that's what the
Yes, because there are people from everywhere. There are people from everywhere. Everywhere that has joined that program and are in one of those platforms that are using it to get to their home, either their first home, their first investment property, or piece of land. Right? So as we continue down the road now, we're looking at the government do allocate land to like every citizen in the country, but sometimes the process might take a little long. So we have people that came and say, hey, Dr. K, I would like to get to a house, but I don't have land. And if I had a piece of land, if you guys offered a piece of land, then maybe I could join the program. So I went out on an endeavor to look for land. So we can now offer house and land together. without having you wait to get a piece of land,
Gotcha.
basically.
Gotcha.
Because the first program was wherever you have land, your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, whoever owns something, it might be something that we have to pull down and start over. But at least if you had a piece of land wherever, we could build there. But for the people that don't own any land, they couldn't do anything. So hence the platform Avalon or Avalon Reserve, that's where that came from.
Gotcha.
Finding land to make it accessible for the average guy, everybody who would like to own a piece of land and build a house could actually do so immediately without having to wait to be allocated a piece of land.
So let me see if I understand this, because I'm a 2-year-old learning this. Your program, do they have to go through a bank and get approved?
Nope.
Okay.
They can though, because we have about 5 different programs. All of them are interest-free programs. But for those folks that might not have the patience to do 36 months with us or 50 months or 60 months with us, they might decide that, hey, I could go and be financed because I work, I have good income, I could go and finance myself. So for those folks, they can get financed, come to us, the bank will pay us.
Gotcha.
And we will build their homes, and then they will pay the bank for the next 20 or 30 years.
Gotcha. But otherwise, you finance them, or your
We
organization.
have a program,
Gotcha.
that puts them in a position to build their homes once they have acquired at least 50% of the total cost.
Got it.
The home.
Got it. Okay. What's the cost of the average home?
The average home, but with everything even right now, it's $10 million, which is be the equivalent of 50,000 US.
That's not bad. How many bedrooms are we talking about?
2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 2-story.
Okay.
Upstairs, you have 2 bedroom and a bathroom upstairs, and downstairs you have your living, kitchen, and dining.
Really? And how many square feet? About?
It's 1,000 square feet.
Okay. That's not bad. So that's your average.
That's the average. Okay. That's everybody and their mother who's working at least 2 years of solid income, because it's an income platform. It's an income-based platform based on your employment. Yes, you could afford a house.
Okay.
Previously, of course, in the pilot and in the feasibility study, we had a home for $5 million, which was $25,000.
And were you getting the same type of home, or?
Yeah.
Really? But now the demand is going up, so the price is going up.
But everything has gone
Absolutely.
up. Everything has gone up.
But I just want to lay it on the line so everybody knows. So there's no. That's full disclosure.
Correct.
Full disclosure.
It was 800 square feet before that they could have gotten at $5 million. And of course, everybody jumped on board to see how they could get it, because that catered to the average man, who really does not have an income to support a $20 million property. Or the millions sound a lot for Guyana, right?
But I understand. I understand.
You're looking at between $50,000 to $100,000, and you could get a nice, decent place. Yeah.
Wow. So what is the steps
to take?
Well,
first, like I mentioned before, you must be working, because this is an income-based program.
Okay.
You must be
working for at least 2 years.
2 years with verifiable income. So don't let your auntie send us a pay slip. Right?
You can't make up a pay slip and send it to her, okay? So let's just put that out there.
Yes, so don't do that, right? That will jeopardize your chances tremendously.
Okay.
But in addition, we just need copies of your ID, 2 forms of government-issued ID, proof of your income, proof of your, we call it proof of address, where you're living currently. It doesn't matter if you're overseas or if you're in Guyana, same thing.
Gotcha.
Guyana do have a TIN number, or a social security number. We call the TIN number.
Okay.
For the folks that are overseas, we may or may not request your social security number because you're in Guyana. So when you do come home, you will be required to apply for your TIN, which normally takes a day or 2.
Okay.
All right. And make sure that your bills, all of your, what we call the people that you owe, your liabilities, after all your expenses monthly, once we've subtracted from food to your utilities to literally all your expenses, every last one of them, you have at least $50,000 remaining
to pay the mortgage.
to pay towards your mortgage,
Gotcha.
right?
Do you take it automatically, or do you rely on
The customer
to
to
make the
bring
payment?
their payments.
Okay, so you don't do a direct
No, we
deposit.
don't.
Okay.
We don't direct deposit or take it out.
Take it
your
out of your
checks,
account. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because the program is contingent on your consistency,
Okay.
right? So based on the program that you've joined, we have stuff that people have become familiar with from over the years, right? We have a very popular program known as the Box Hand Program. What do we call that in the Caribbean? Susu or...
Gotcha.
You're right.
Right.
So
Partner.
instead of partner, right? Good. So instead of putting the money that you're getting towards buying a car or paying for your kids' education or whatever else, or buying frivolous stuff, you're now putting that money towards your house, right?
Makes sense.
So
Makes sense.
that is very powerful. We even also have a layaway to your home program. We have the box hand to your home program because it wasn't about taking things from outside of the usual that you're not familiar with, because it takes a lot for you to adapt, and the adaptation rate is so vast and so on. So we're using things that you're familiar with already.
Got it.
So the layaway program is also one of them, the layaway to your home, right? You don't get to move into the house
Right.
until you have reached the required amount.
Of deposit.
Correct.
Got it.
And then you get to move in. The box is very popular, but what we found is instead of building your house and building your house and building your house, once you've acquired say it's your hand, it's your turn. We have decided to split. It's like group economics, where each of you are contributing towards building each other home.
Okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
It is, because in that way, about 72% of the customers that have gotten to their home have gotten to their home because of the box hand program.
Wow.
Right? They just saw a way, like, I could actually get to my home that way. Yep.
Right.
That's how you're going to get there. So it takes your consistency. So if you pay this month and then next month you forget to pay, or you come up with some fancy excuse as to why you couldn't pay, you're going to get replaced.
Okay.
All right?
So is replacing like foreclosure in our terms here in the U.S.?
No. You're being replaced. You're getting removed from out of the box and replaced with somebody that is more consistent.
More consistent, okay.
Because if you're not on a mission to get to your home and there are other people that are there, we're not going to have you jeopardize their chances of getting there because of your delinquency.
Got it.
No, we're not going to do that. So that became something that you'll be surprised at how consistent people will get over time.
Okay, but let's
make
look,
it happen.
Let's look at the other side of the coin, because this is life. We're human beings.
Yep.
Things happens.
Yes.
What happens if, God forbid, the person loses their job, loses their income? Is there such a thing as foreclosure there, or how does it work?
So here what happens. There is such a thing as foreclosure, but we look at it from a totally un-American standpoint.
Okay.
But everything is still finance, right? So for a customer that has been paying towards a home,
Correct.
if per adventure you're not consistent and, life happens,
Stuff
as
happens.
it does,
Yeah.
then we will remove you from out of the box and put you in the layaway program. You could take as long as you want. You could skip as many months as you want.
Even if you're already living in the home?
No. That's before you get there.
No, I'm talking about once you're living in the home.
Once you're living in the home, there's only like a 10% remaining balance that you have to pay off
Okay.
while you're living in the
Gotcha.
home. So if per adventure you lost your job, there is always, like we did when we looked at the scale and the income and your expenses against your expenses, and we saw that literally $50,000, you are not losing sleep over acquiring $250 a month. Okay, that's the equivalent of $50,000. You're not losing sleep over that. You will find that in your sleep.
Okay.
So the rate of the dropout rate is very slim
small.
to none, because you will find that money.
Right.
because that's your house. That's not a rental
Right,
property.
right,
That's your
right.
house. And after you've paid at least 90 to 95% of your money, you
Yeah,
think you're
you're not
trying to
gonna lose it.
you're
Gotcha.
gonna let it lose over 5%?
Got it.
No.
And we're talking about the minimum here.
The
We're talking about
minimum,
okay.
$250.
Okay.
$250. You could do that in your sleep.
All
Right?
right. For folks overseas
Mm-hmm.
who are listening and watching this interview now,
Mm-hmm.
how do they find, like, they before they take that trip
Mm-hmm.
to find either the house, the location, whatever, how do they find out more about your company?
Well, we're very social. We're one of the most social real estate development companies ever. So you could go to our platform, fabuloushomesinternational.com. That's for the folks that are doing everything luxurious and so on.
Right.
Or you could go to Fabulous Homes International Guyana.com for the folks that are interested in getting on board on the Guyana program, or FHIGY.com.
Yes. Yeah.
You go there and you look up the programs, you look at how everything works. It's very self-explanatory. We didn't want to complicate nothing,
Right.
right? The goal is that it shouldn't be complicated,
Right.
period. So if you want to get to your house and you have this much money, you have this much expenses, after all your expenses, you have this much remaining, that is what we're looking for. And you have some other documentation to back that up. That is what we're looking for, because remember, at the end of the day, it's your consistency that's going to get you to your home and keep you there.
Keep it there.
Right?
I'm looking at the homes, man. These are some beautiful homes.
Of course, we're Fabulous Homes. We still have to give you a lovely house, but you're not spending, an eternity trying to pay it back or
Gotcha.
pay it off.
How about the land? If you don't have land, how does that work? Does that factor into the mortgage as well, or
Yes.
is it a separate?
So what we do, we offer, all of them are package deals. So you could buy the land first, because most of the people that sign up for each of these programs, you're paying for the land first, and then you're building your house after. So it's
Gotcha.
like we're holding the land as collateral
Right.
before we start building the house for you,
Okay.
right? So you're not paying in the wind. If your house is 10, 12, 15, 20 million, whatever it is, the first thing that you're doing is paying
making sure
off
that
for your
the
land.
land. Okay.
Right? We own the land. So upon complete payment of your land, you could opt for us applying for the title to the land. And then you could hold on to that, and then we build on the land after we've acquired title. But remember, we own the title to everything.
To everything.
So
Gotcha.
you're paying for one thing, and then one thing is doing the other thing for you.
Okay. How obviously you've been successful, but how successful have you been in terms of Guyanese folks that buy versus Barbados, Jamaica, and every place else?
It's the same program. The same program. I'm like, this program could be replicated anywhere in the world. The key was to figure out the formula
Gotcha.
that allows it to work anywhere in the world. So while I'm focused on Guyana because I'm Guyanese,
Right.
anybody, once you're working and you are consistent for at least 36 months, some of you based on your income level, because we might have to drop that from $250 to $200, the equivalent of $200. So it might take you 50 months
Versus
36
Gotcha,
months,
gotcha.
right? Or 60 if we dropped it at even lower based on your income. That gives you an opportunity to get you to your home.
now you
The
want me
goal
you got me
is
wanting to buy a
you,
home.
right?
My gosh.
The goal
this is incredible.
you. You are the common denominator that's going to allow you to get to your home.
Right.
If you don't want to get there, then you will take a longer period of time to get there. If you're in a hurry to get there, then you're going to do what it takes to get there.
And obviously
which is
you can
remain
double up on your
consistent.
payment. If you have it like that,
Exactly.
you can double up on your
You
payment
can
and get
double
it
up on
done
your payment.
quicker.
Correct.
Okay. And there's no interest.
There's no interest,
Wow. Okay.
right?
Even from the bank, there's no interest.
No. The bank has an
Oh,
interest program. That's
but
the
you
bank
guys
program.
does not have.
Our program has
Got
no
it.
interest.
Got it.
Right?
Got it. And so is Avalon a section of Guyana or area in Guyana?
Well, what we're doing, because the program, since we had to look to get land to facilitate the participants in the platform, we had to find an entire area that could actually facilitate those folks, basically. So we started Avalon,
Okay.
which is now the city of Avalon that we're now developing.
Okay.
And it's giving literally either the program participants, whether they be local or whether they be international. I actually have a YouTube channel on the Caribbean Queen of Real Estate. I give you guys a play-by-play because I don't edit anything.
Okay.
I give you the raw footage, the raw everything, because, you know, there's a lot of companies out there. They, you know, they paint this beautiful picture.
Of course. It's
Photoshop
all in the presentation.
everything. Yes, because we was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, why don't you guys Photoshop this and Photoshop that so we can have pretty picture of all this stuff. And when you get there, it don't look nothing
Right.
like you have seen
Correct.
in those videos.
Correct.
We don't do any editing. We show you the real, the
As
play-by-play
is.
as is. So you come tomorrow, you'll see exactly you look just so.
Gotcha.
Right? So there are too many of those folks that have been selling dreams, big plots of bush and jungle. And it's like, oh, we're doing this and we're doing that. And we don't have these people investing in nothing. So we wanted to be the difference. Be something that you could actually fly, catch a plane tomorrow. And we're 20 minutes from the Tamari or Chedijagan International Airport. So you're on your way to Georgetown. So
Okay.
you'll make a side jump to come into Avalon. So that's it.
Okay. What's the population there like now? Is there a lot of new residents moving
Well,
in?
they're moving in slowly but surely because remember, this is a ginormous undertaking.
I would imagine.
The infrastructural cost is ginormous.
I would imagine, yeah.
Right? So we're doing it step by step, day by day. And what we're telling all our residents to do and our potential residents and the other ones that are on the platform that probably are not there yet in terms of their required finances, we're working to do this every resident, you know, each and every resident, one at a time, piece by piece. We're going to develop the entire place on our own. Right? So you're an investor because you bought a piece of land there and you're building a house there. So it makes it necessary for you now to say, hey, I want to do this. I'm doing this tomorrow. I'm contributing to this. Nah. Now I'm looking down the road to see later on when we are in a position where it's like, hey, we have a big capital investor and that person came and just did all the roads, all the streets, all, you know, that kind of thing. But it's still very lovely. I actually live there right now. And beautiful, quiet, serene, peaceful. At least you can breathe fresh air, right?
How about the schools and you know, shops and stuff in the area? Do you have those churches and all that?
Right now, they have to go outside to go to schools and shops and stores and so on, which is about 5 minutes away.
Okay.
But we are going to be putting everything, all the amenities that is needed in Avalon, in Avalon. So we do have plans. If you go to the platform, the city of Avalon, gy.com, you will see our entire plan with what we have coming for Avalon. So we are in the process right now of developing our own supermarket, pharmacy, clinic, and cafe, stuff
So you're
that people
basically
need
building
right
a
now.
city from scratch.
Correct.
Wow.
Right? One day at a time, brick by brick by brick.
Wow.
So it's exciting for a lot of folks because it's like it's taking you back to childhood, to like that kind of community. Because everybody, we have our own neighborhood vigilante. You have everybody looks out for everybody. It's pretty cool. So it gives you that homey feeling that you grew up with. Not like now everybody's snobby, everybody drive, wind up the window, nobody say hi to nobody. It's just like so impersonal.
Gotcha.
No, that's not Avalon. That's not Avalon.
I've never heard of Avalon. I've heard of Beast. I've heard of, obviously.
Well, Avalon is here. We call it now. It's Friendship, East Bank. But, you know, Avalon it is.
Gotcha.
Avalon it is.
Gotcha. Wow. What else should folks know? What else do they need to know?
Well, I would like them to know that in addition to having an interest-free platform, you have access to not just the land that you're building on, you could literally customize your home. People are like, why are you giving people an opportunity to customize their home? They're not spending $500,000 US, you know, because that's where custom starts. No, you're going to be living in your house. you have to like where you're living.
Right.
So if they come and they say, Dr. K, I want shocking color mustard, you're not going to find it, right?
Do they pay extra?
For the paint.
They pay extra for that, of course.
No.
No additional. Really?
Not right now. Maybe that might change later on down the road.
You're listening to this, right? Okay. Jump on it now because, as you say, it may change down the road. But for now,
you gotta go look for shocking color mustard or a shocking pink, or they call it eggnog green.
Yes.
I asked this lady, it's like, what is eggnog green? She said, this is the color. This is eggnog. Yes, right. So in your square footage, also, we have the plan laid out with what how everything should be. But if you want to change it around,
you can do that.
Once it falls within the parameters of your square feet, we will change it around for you.
Okay.
Right? So you get what you want in your house, because at the end of the day, it's
you gotta live in it.
That are living there. You gotta like where you live in.
Question though, from inception, okay, I call you today and my finances works out, everything is on the up and up. How long would it take to build a home?
It depends on the size of the home.
Okay.
So if your house is at 1,000 square feet, that is 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
If it's bigger than 1,000, you have 1,400, 1,600, 1,800, up to 2,000 square feet is about 8 to 10 months.
Okay. So you don't have homes just sitting there for folks
No.
to move in. Okay. So you build as you go.
Correct.
Okay.
We don't have any spec houses. We're headed to 100 plus houses right now. And people's like, oh my, all them houses are already occupied. Yes. They're customers' houses, none for sale.
So there's no model home there for you to start.
Yeah,
Okay,
because every house is different.
Right.
Right? Somebody had to say, oh, I want my bedroom. No, I want it over there. So folks comes like, well, if this was me house, I want to do it. So, well, it is not your house.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So you got to say. Maybe later on at some point we might do maybe 1 or 2, but the whole idea of spec houses is just sitting there unoccupied. Okay. It makes absolutely no economic sense.
Okay, so the average home takes 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do you want the folks to know? Because I want them to get everything from this interview.
Come to Avalon. I invited all of you. Like I tell the folks, when I came to Atlanta. Well, I came way before I started bringing people here. Like I was moving folks from New York to Atlanta because it was so warm.
Yes.
And nice.
Not anymore.
So beautiful, right?
Not anymore. When I moved here 20 years ago, it was warm. Not anymore.
Exactly. So I was moving people from up north to Atlanta because you get bigger pieces of land.
Yes, it's more for your money.
Instead of paying rent to somebody's place in Brooklyn or Maryland or Virginia or wherever, we brought you to Atlanta, right? So now I'm moving out to this cool place because I come today, I thought I dressed warm enough, but it's still cool. So I'm moving out.
Yeah, because you're coming from a tropical country, man. I mean, come on.
That's all right.
There's no comparison.
Cold. I was here in Atlanta, and Atlanta was not this cold. I know it has its days where it gets cold, but
it's not the same.
It's like a couple of days in a row.
Not the same.
So that's it. So we're moving y'all now from Atlanta. We carry y'all to Avalon, Guyana, South America, right? Go to the platform, the city of Avalon, gy.com. Come. Enjoy living in peace, serenity, not this everyday hustle and bustle. Relax. It's like you're in a whole other place, but you're in,
Gotcha.
You're 5 minutes away from
all the
everything.
residents, you're welcome to return.
Yes.
You have a nice home.
Yes. Something that you're accustomed to. People like the nice place in the States here. You can still do it there. And you could actually live on your Social Security too, if those that are retiring. Comfortably.
Gotcha.
By the way. And remember, like I told y'all in the beginning, it's currently $200
to $1 US.
So let that resonate for a second.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
So go to the platform, learn all you can. You could either go to the Fabulous Homes International platform, FHIGY.com, or Fabulous Homes International platform, that's fabuloushomeinternational.com, or the City of Avalon, GY.com. Learn everything you need to know about getting excited about owning a property in South America, and might I say, Guyana is the oil capital of the South. Okay, we have one of the largest oil reserve per capita in Guyana right now, and everybody.
I've been reading up on that.
Correct, and the money is there. So why not you? Whether you're Guyanese or you're from the Caribbean, because all the Caribbean people live in Guyana at one point, we were the breadbasket of the Caribbean.
Absolutely.
There's everybody there. Somebody that has a grandmother that was from St. Lucia or St. Kitts or Barbados or Jamaica, wherever. And it's returning to that right now.
Well, you know what? I follow you on your social media, so I pretty much know everything, not everything you're saying, but I follow the stuff. To follow your movement.
Oh, thank you.
On your journey. And I got to say I'm proud of you because, you went down there and you carved out, I don't know what your plans were, but you carved out a niche for yourself. And it takes guts to do that. It takes determination.
Oh, sure
to do that. So
it sure do, but
you've done that. You've done that. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. K, it's called the Fabulous Homes International.com or FHIGY.com. Make sure you check it out. If you're Guyanese, if you're Bayesian,